Well, that's broken for some reason. But what would SATAL be without things being broken? Let me fix this right quick. I don't know why it decided that it wanted to... Where is that base? There it is. I don't know why it decided it wanted to not be happy and not play nicely. There we go. And that shouldn't be there. So we'll get rid of that. But good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our second edition of the Wheels Up Streamcast. I'm your host, Moltar, and I'm joined, who you'll see here in just a minute, by number 15's Beaver, who's going to be joining me, going through all of this stuff. But just wanted to say hello. There is no match tonight for anybody that got on, maybe excitedly thinking that there was going to be a match. This is just a place and a time where we get on and we talk about all of the happenings in DCS. And you get to enjoy my face for just a little bit longer, because we all know that's what you guys really enjoy. So we're going to go through the sponsor reel. We're going to see this supercut that you guys should have seen on Thursday, and we'll go from there. So enjoy. I will see you guys back here in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Alpha Whiskey just keeps getting better and better and better.
Does.
I think you'll agree with me, Beaver, that he's just
super good.
He keeps adding things, and I'm going to talk to him on Monday because I've got some more vision with what I think. I love the text add-ons that he's doing. I just think there's some other things that we can do with it to further the narrative, because what I want these supercuts to be is kind of like a mini story of an engagement where it allows the viewer to feel like they know what's going on and to live a highlight without any words actually being spoken. That's my idea for everything, and really they're like really short fan videos.
Right.
I mean, under a minute. So he's doing awesome. For anybody that thinks we're going to have SATAL tonight, it's not happening. It's not happening. This is a new Streamcast. We did our first one a couple weeks ago called Wheels Up, where we go over things in DCS, things that impact DCS, things that impact the competitive stream or the competitive playing field in DCS. And we just talk about life. We go on tangents sometimes. We're going to start having guests. Beaver, you got some guests lined up for us.
That's right. We have a couple of guests for our TACView debrief tonight. Got a couple of pilots to come in and talk about the match, and we'll just leave it at that. We'll hold it.
Well, we can tell people who they are. They're Joint Task Force's Marcus, right?
Marco, yep.
And then we've got Rage from Task Force Striding.
Rage.
Yeah, so what we're going to try and do is allow people to get into the minds of the people that are actually flying in these events, and see how they, what they were thinking going through the TAC views. We see this on other e-sporting events like Counter-Strike, League of Legends and stuff, but with this one, because when I'm casting them, I'm just in my basement. I'm not on some grand studio. I'm just in my basement sitting in front of a few monitors and trying to give you guys a glimpse into the competitive DCS scene. We're having to do this after the fact because these guys aren't getting paid to do any of this. They were just trying to give people insights. So they're going to be coming here when we do the TAC views. And I think, Beaver, you and I talked about we're going to try and condense these and make them more digestible for people and easier to just take in on the go so we can talk about things going on. So I'm going to try and keep my rambling to a minimum. But you know more about the DCS news as far as updates than I do. So why don't you take that one?
Right. So some of the big updates or some of the big things that came in the update were, for me personally, especially, was the F-16 Mavericks. We finally got Mavericks for the F-16. We've got IR and TV guided Mavs, which can be slaved and force correlated with the T-Pod, which was really cool. And we also got harms. Finally, we got the AGM-88 harm. Unfortunately, we don't have the HDS pod yet, so we only have HAZ mode with the AGM-88s. It's pretty short range relative to what we will be capable of later, but that's pretty cool.
I got to point out that something that I think people are a little disappointed about, they got used to being able to blow up SD-10s without them engaging their missiles. In the last patch, ED was like, no, SD-10, she's back, and she shoots down everything. So from what I've understood, reading on Hoggit, people are a little butthurt that the SD-10s are shooting everything down. So I find that kind of funny. Or not the SD-10s, the SA-10s. The SA-10s, not the SD-10s.
The SD-10 is a Chinese missile. So there were some other kind of updates going on with pilot G tolerance just in general. Was listed under DCS World, but specifically also again mentioned in the Viper. So now you can pull 9Gs in the Viper and not instantaneously black out.
Your pilot has leg day.
Yep, you can, and then you can let off, and then you can do it again and not instantly black out.
It's really nice. It's really nice. You can kind of compete with Hornets now instead of just getting blown all over the road and feeling like you got hit by a truck and not being able to compete. So that is nice.
You can basically pull 8Gs all day long. Your pilot doesn't even start to black out, but the moment you start to go above 8Gs, hit like 8.2, 8.5, it starts to close in, but it's nice and slow. So you can pull, you can get yourself into that nice corner rate and be pulling, 6, 7Gs, and then, really pull on it to gain the angles that you want or offset the circle, or whatever it is you're trying to do in your BFM matchup. You'll start to bleed speed off and you'll start to black out, but you can do it for an extended period of time before finally blacking out. But it takes quite a while, so it's definitely much improved over the previous.
It really is. It's really nice. Yeah, G.I. Joe, since you were talking to your wife and you prioritize your wife over us, first of all, that's your first mistake. Secondly, we were talking about the pilot G limit, specifically with the Viper, and the Viper's pilot finally finding the gym and going in on leg day. Yeah. This is very important.
Not being a wuss.
Yeah, he's lifting them weights, pumping that iron with specifically his legs.
He finally learned the hick maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's better. It is
much better.
So I'm very excited about that. Was there anything else? A10 too.
Yeah, A10 is getting the GBU 54 GPS or laser guided JDAM. So you can now pre-plan your targets with GPS coordinates, or if you need to hit a moving target, you can lace and hit something too.
Can you put those on the center line racks, on the triple ejector racks that the GBU-12s used to go on?
I'm unfamiliar to the loading configuration.
Does anybody
know
know
that it's getting it? And The GBU 54 JDAM in specific, I don't think you can do a triple rack with it because they're 2,000-pound variants. They're big boys.
Sad.
And the cool thing too, though, is that the Harrier got them too, and you can carry 4 of those on a Harrier as well, which seems kind of.
But they're like as big as the Harrier.
I know. This is why I said it seems kind of absurd to me, but hey.
Jan Swiss wins the release date. Supposedly next week.
Oh, that'd be cool.
From what I understand, supposedly we're going to get a hot fix tomorrow.
Ooh,
I don't know for what. I don't know.
Maybe
supposedly a hot fix tomorrow.
Maybe the missiles?
Maybe. That'd be nice. And then A10 on Wednesday. That's what I've been told. I got my ear to the ground. Sometimes I hear things, and this is what I've been told. So we're just going to have to...
Let's just be safe and say 2 weeks.
Maybe. 2 weeks could be after Christmas. We never know.
2 weeks, soon TM.
But seriously, I think it's supposed to be Wednesday. This Wednesday.
There were also some missile changes, though, as we just kind of alluded to. The 120s have been reverted back to their previous countermeasure resistance levels. So they're no longer impervious to chaff. Unfortunately, the 120Cs and the 120Bs, I think, get spoofed pretty quickly.
It's really frustrating. I sort of understand, kind of.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I don't. So supposedly why they did it was because chaff is supposed to be effective against the 120C and the 120B when it is illuminated by ECM. Now, for anybody that flies in DCS and knows what's going on with the sim, ECM in DCS sucks. It is terrible, and my stream fixed itself. Okay. ECM in DCS sucks. So what ED has said is that because ECM doesn't work, they have made chaff work against the 120 like ECM worked. So the chaff is functioning as if it was being illuminated by ECM, supposedly. Now,
okay,
whether or not that's true, I don't know. Again, this is just what I'm hearing. I think this has been voiced by ED, but it makes me hurt. I hurt inside because it makes the exploits, in all honesty, it not just exploits, it doesn't punish people. They get away with mistakes more. They're able to just... I've fought a bunch of people where they, especially Hornets, they're able to just get into a notch, just boop, boop, and then they get into it for a second, pop one chaff, and then they're out of it, and the missile's dead. It doesn't track, and it's really frustrating because people aren't punished for getting in too deep and getting smacked in the face by a baby telephone pole going Mach 2 or Mach 3. So I'm not a huge fan of that. And supposedly they also changed it because the flanker pilots were sad. Which I have several thousand hours in the flanker. Guys, the flanker's from the 80s. You can't... It's going to get its butt kicked when it's using weapons in an airframe from the 80s against things that are from the 2000s. That's just what's going to happen.
Pretty much.
That's just it. Sorry for cutting you off.
But speaking of telephone poles, though, that change does sort of passively buff the AIM-54 a little bit now. It kind of makes the AIM-54 a bit more of an option because it was so bad before. And apparently they did make a change to the terminal guidance on the AIM-54s as well. They said something about changing that so that it doesn't like jerk and do its bleeding maneuver as badly anymore, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really noticed it all that much. I've been watching the missiles and they seem to be doing pretty much the same thing, but maybe they're not bleeding off as much energy as they were. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know either. But what he's talking about, guys, what Beaver's actually talking about is if you guys have watched SATAL, you've seen me have aneurysms. I have a lot of aneurysms. I should have a stroke any day now. Okay, it's coming. One day we're going to be streaming and one side of my face is just going to stop moving. I have aneurysms every time a Phoenix goes off because they do this like I don't know what I'm doing. And it goes into terminal guidance, and then it freaks out and can't figure out what it wants to do. Supposedly that's fixed.
We'll
Supposedly. I don't know. I haven't watched any tracks because I haven't. And all of the streams that you guys see are a month old, so we're not going to see these changes for a month.
Another month.
Yeah. But I haven't fought enough Phoenixes. I think they're harder to get away from because I think they maintain energy better. But in the practice match I was in today, it didn't seem any harder to get away from. So I don't.
They still seem pretty easy to notch. I think.
Well, I don't think it's that they're harder to
notch.
notch. I think it just had to do with energy retention and it not freaking out and bleeding 500 knots of energy. So
sure, but I don't think it made it necessarily any more difficult to get away from, just because that I think it's still easily
maybe
notchable
slightly
as it was before.
Yeah, maybe slightly. You can make a missile get rid of 200 knots to 500 knots of airspeed pretty rapidly, especially if you do an S maneuver like a serpentine, or if you do a nice slow, like wide barrel roll where you're forcing the missile to pull and dual load itself. You can force it to bleed a lot of energy going through that. So they're not hard, but I think it is slightly better from what I understand. Yeah,
it definitely felt better in our internal testing anyway. Like before, it was just like it was getting to a point where the 54, even the Mark 60s, we were like, man, these things just suck now. Like it's too easy to get away from. And then after the changes, we did some internal testing, and it seemed like the Tomcat had some teeth back. So we may be picking that back up a little more. But yeah, there's still some things going on. I think
maybe the reason people think the Phoenix sucks now is because most people, especially in the competitive scene, understand how to fight it now. So you're not getting caught. When we see it sometimes in SATAL, but people aren't getting caught in positions where they can't defend. A lot of times they're searching for those missile launches. They're easy to see because they're smoked. It's just nice. Jan Swiss asks, I'm new and trying to learn VR. Are there any cool VR updates? Not really.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of emphasis placed on VR. I don't think. It almost seems like when GR did their interview with some of the people, like they were completely oblivious to the fact that like there's even VR problems. So I don't know.
They got there's a lot of stuff. So we can't expect them to fix everything at once.
Right.
But talking about VR updates, I think this is a good time we can talk about hardware. So there are a couple hardware updates where the 8KX came out. Who makes the 5K and the 8KX? Why can't I not think of their name?
Are you talking about the Pimax?
Pimax, yeah. So the 8KX came out, and one of the guys in my squadron has one, and he said and says it is amazing. He said it's incredible. Like there's no screen door effect anymore. It's gone.
It have to be.
It's 4K per eye.
Yeah, and you're gonna need a 3080 to run it.
He's running a 2080, and I think he's getting 40.
That's reasonable.
So, yeah,
I mean, when I was earlier, I was talking with you a little bit because I fly in VR. I fly on the Oculus Rift, and I was actually flying at a 2.0 pixel density, and you told me to drop it.
Did that help?
To help spot missiles? I don't think it did. I think there's a difference between
he can't tell because he sucks.
Shut up. I really think there's a difference between the missile ranges and
there is
the draw distance between VR and non-VR. And so I've been considering possibly going back to a screen. But yeah, it was definitely a visual downgrade going to a 1.0 pixel density instead of a 2.0 pixel density. But I did see a massive frame rate jump. I sit at almost 80 all the time in each eye now, whereas before I was at 40, and I would play on 40 and it was fine. So if he's getting 40 in each eye, but he's running 4K in each eye and has that massive wide viewing angle, that might
I think
be worth it, other than the fact that the headset itself is ungodly expensive.
I think it leads to the thing that we need to think about, that there's a massive CPU bottleneck that exists inside of VR.
Yeah, there's a massive CPU bottleneck in DCS.
Yeah, there is. There is.
And hopefully that will be rectified once we finally get Vulkan. And they
Yeah,
can evenly
we're going to
use-
see how big of a CPU bottleneck there is, because I was able to get my hands on, and I sent a tweet about this a couple days ago. I was able to get my hands on, it hasn't shipped yet, a 3090.
You're a terrible person, by the way, on how you did this.
You guys want to hear how I did this?
Tell
I
'em
saw
the
somebody.
story.
I saw something on Reddit about how this guy did it, and it was through. He said that he got it through Dell tech support, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll try this. I can't get it anywhere else, and it was
scumbag.
It was a PNY 3090, an XLR or an XRL8, and people are like, oh, PNY sucks. Well, they don't. PNY makes all the Quadro GPUs for NVIDIA. So PNY is really good. They're just not a big company like EVGA or Asus or something like that. They're a little guy.
Well,
but
they're not as public, I guess, as EVGA.
No,
they're
yeah,
a big company.
Yeah, well, they're not as public facing, I guess we
Right,
should say.
right.
So it's an XLR8. It's an
Accelerate.
Yeah, that. And people are like, oh, it's ugly. Well, the funky colors on the top of the card are actually RGB, so you can set them to whatever color you want. Well, anyway, so the idea was I had to get on with an agent and tell the agent that I had an old Alienware computer and that I wanted to upgrade the GPU, okay? So I got on, and the first agent I talked to, he was like, oh, okay, we can make that happen. And so we're going through the whole thing, and he's like, okay, let's make you an invoice. So he's going through, and he's making me an invoice, and I made the mistake of him in saying yes to this. And he asked, do you want to be part of our Dell Advantage program? It's free to sign up. It doesn't cost anything. It'll give you free shipping. I'm like, well, okay, because at that point he said he didn't have any 3090s, and they only had a 3080, which is weird because of what happened eventually. But it wasn't free shipping, so I'm like, okay, I'll do this for free shipping. And so he signs me up for that. It takes a couple minutes, and then he's like, okay, we've done that. Let's get your invoice set up. So he asked me my name, my address, my billing and shipping address, and all that stuff. And so he does all that, and he goes, oh, no, they're sold out, while he's doing all this. And he checked before, and they were fine. So I'm like, crap, doesn't have any more. I'm like, okay,
Spoiled
we'll see you
again.
later. See you later. I thought, man, that sucks. Well, I go back to the post, and about 10 minutes later, and I look, and this guy says, I got one. And this was 5 minutes ago. So obviously he got one after the agent that I was talking to told me they didn't have any more. So I'm thinking, some tomfoolery is up. There's stuff going on. So I thought, instead of talking to one agent, I'm going to talk to 10 agents. And I pulled up all of these screens. I had like 4 of my 8 monitors going with Dell tech support agents going.
This whole botnet going on, talking to people.
So I've got 10 of them going at the same time, and I'm being really nice. And half of them are saying they don't have them. Some of them are asking for the IDs for the Alienware computers. I don't remember what they're called.
Close that. You just close that.
No, I say that I don't have it. I bought this Alienware secondhand. I'm really playing the narrative here. I bought the Alienware secondhand, and the stickers rubbed off, so I don't have the number anymore. This was my narrative. And some of them would say, well, we need that number in order to make it work. Until finally I got to this one lady, and I tell her the same story. She asked me if I have this number, and I say, no, it rubbed off. She goes, okay, no problem. I'm like, really? This is working? And she says, and I ask her, do you have any 3090s? And she goes, hold on, let me check. And she says, will this do? And she lifts off PNY 3090 Accelerate 8 or whatever. I'm like, yes, that will work. That'll work. And then she takes a second and sends me, okay, I'll create an invoice for you. And I send her this stuff, and I'm thinking, it's going to go away again. It's not going to work. It's going to go away again. And then she comes back and says, all right, I'm going to send you a secured link so you can enter your credit card information. I'm like, it worked. I can't believe it worked. And the other crazy thing is that the shipping date on these, supposedly I'm supposed to get mine on October 5th. So all of these people are like waiting until November and December. And here I am bamboozling my way into Dell tech support. and supposedly getting one on October 5th, which is in, this weekend.
You just got to make sure. I would recommend before you even install the thing, take the cooler off and look at the caps. They've been having issues with.
No,
some
I
of the
know.
caps.
I don't know. Well, nobody even really knows if that's people. Nobody knows if that's what's the issue is. The drivers are so immature still.
Igor's lab is pretty certain that they're having some problems with that. And that dude is smart.
Yes, but Buildzoid also said that he didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're wrong. The only thing I'm saying is that I don't think the driver is mature enough to rule out the driver completely borking the whole experience, right? I don't know. I can't.
I don't know. It just seems odd that once it hits a certain clock, then you're hitting crashes, and they can do it almost consistently with it.
Which
even
is
Jay
true.
Was saying he could do it on his.
I'm not
just using his mic.
I'm not.
Lab mic.
I'm not discrediting that, but I'm saying that there could be other things afoot that are causing this to happen. I don't know. But what I do think is funny, and people are like, the podcasts or whatever they are so much cheaper than the MLCCs. I'm like, dude, no, they're actually more expensive. So I think it's funny that people are jumping to conclusions without the full story. The reason the MLCCs are more expensive is because you need more of them because they're a lower power tolerance product. So you need more of them in the same thing, but you actually need both to do certain things. One's not worse than the other. You need both for certain situations. So anyway, I got the 3090 coming. Hopefully, yeah. I'm gonna laugh when it doesn't come on.
She bamboozled you,
probably,
and just led you along. She knows all about the scam, and she's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna send you a 3090, no problem."
Yeah. I'm gonna send. Well, she charged me, so it says confirmed.
Exactly.
I got stuff, but I'm gonna laugh when the date changes to like January 7th or something like that. I'm like, oh. But it ended up happening. It was. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna run some pretty heavy benchmarks on it, especially with DCS. I think it's funny that a lot of the people that are running the DCS that got 3080s and they're posting these details about what the card's doing and stuff, they don't even really know what they're looking at. And you can see blatantly that there's a CPU bottleneck and people are like, 3080 sucks.
Yeah, it's not even fully utilizing the GPU.
Dude, yeah.
My 2080 Ti, even in VR, is only hitting like 60-70% utilization because it's only running on 2 cores of draw calls. That's it. That's all it's getting.
Yeah. Now, there are times in DCS, and this is the important part, there are times in DCS in certain areas that you will utilize 100% of your GPU, especially when you're in mountains in the Caucasus with trees everywhere. You're going to...
And other players, yeah.
Yeah, your GPU is going to get hammered. So there are times when you're going to utilize it. So a lot of this stuff that these guys are doing isn't showing you the whole picture of what's going on and if a 3080 or 3090 is going to be beneficial. Speaking of total 3090, another 3090 story, the same guy that got the Pimax AKX got his hands on a 3090. He ordered one.
A Founders Edition?
I don't remember what kind it was. He ordered one, and then he gets a notification from USPS that in transit, the card was stolen.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's going to be, I think he got it from Amazon, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be somebody at the Amazon warehouse.
Yeah, somebody at the Amazon warehouse was like, screw this, dude. I'm taking this. This is my 3090 now.
Yeah, that'd be my assumption of what it actually
that
ended up going
3090
down
is
there.
up on eBay right now for $20,000.
You have a GTX 650? Dude, please upgrade. Please.
So I'm thinking it's old. Yeah,
it's a little old.
That's correct thinking.
Does it work for DCS?
I would be surprised. I don't even think the 600 series is DX12. Well, it's written on DX11 though, isn't it?
I don't know that the 650 works on the new drivers.
Well, he could still have the older drivers, but I'm concerned whether or not it's compatible with the API at all. Like, can it even run with DX11?
I don't know.
Or is it just DirectX?
Can't read the cockpit text. Oh.
Yeah. Bro, go. Here's what I would tell you to do. Wait for all this 3080, 3090, AMD RDNA 2 stuff to all blow over for a bit. Just go buy an RX 580 for like $150. It will be better than what you have, and it will tide you over until you decide what you really want to get.
Yeah. Or you could steal one. Like the Amazon guy.
Okay, let's not encourage people to go steal things.
Larceny is a thing, guys. It's only a crime if you get caught. I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Man, Moltar is...
The 580.
Moltar has a moral problem here. You need a moral compass, sir. RX 580.
Well, when I played soccer through college, right? I like to think I was decently good. And my dad instilled in me that it's only cheating if you get caught. So what I would do is and I was a goalkeeper. So I would blatantly do things that just piss off the field players. Like I would take my cleats and rub them up and down on their Achilles when they were standing in front of me, and just slowly start pushing harder and harder and harder when they were doing corner kicks and stuff. Or I would take my knuckles and drive them into the, like, right above their waistline, into their spine, my goal was to get them to turn around and swing at me so that they would get ejected and we'd get a red card and we'd go on. Or like an indoor, I'd grab their shorts and I'd just start yanking on them to pull them down slowly, just to get them to freak out, because they're standing right in front of me. The ref can't see me. And then they turn around and try and shove you, and the ref's like, "You can't touch the goalkeeper," and just always freaks out. So
I need a moral compass.
No, I don't. No, it's fun. It's fun that way. That's the way to do it.
It's the spice of life, I guess, right?
Yeah. But don't exploit in DCS. That's bad. Don't do it.
Especially against Moltar, because he'll get really mad.
I'll ban you from the server that's coming.
Because he can't kill you when you do it.
No, I'll kill you. I'll just be mad because I have to RTB because I ran out of weapons. That's why I'll be mad.
Be like, I'm coming back with more fuel and less missiles. I'm just going to gun you down.
Well, he's dead already. I'm mad that I can't kill any more people because I have to RTB. Server this week, maybe? Dude, I'm hoping. Bear was busy this weekend. I'm really hoping. He said we were going to test this weekend. I'm really, really hoping that we get it this week. I'm looking forward to it. Soon.
How limited are you looking to limit it for population? Are you talking like 30 slots total or something?
30 to 40, somewhere in there. Not a whole lot.
Because I heard you talking about that earlier in the week.
We're definitely not running it.
Server performance.
Hell, we're not running it to like 60 or whatever the other servers do, because it just turns into a cluster, and it's not. There's stuff everywhere, and your performance is a nightmare. And the other problem with it is that you've got all aircraft on both sides, and you can't data link fast enough to make sure that you're not shooting a friendly. So,
right.
Yeah. So hopefully this week. Hopefully it's coming this week.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope. Which I guess since we're on that topic, let's talk about exploits before we go into the TACFU stuff.
Okay.
So Jumper, I'm gonna showcase Is that? Oh, I didn't realize, Jumper, that the TACFU that you sent me was mine. That's me flying in it. I thought it was you. And it's me.
What is it of?
Oh, it's the exploit that I sent you earlier. I'm gonna show you.
Oh,
okay. So this is it right here. Jumper went back and got this. This is let's see if I can zoom in here. This is exactly what we're talking about. So this is me.
This is the current missile exploit that's going on.
Why'd you do that, game?
I didn't do it.
There we go. So this is me right here, and this is the guy I'm shooting at. It's a Mirage. Name doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the exploit. Don't do this. You're
worse than Moltar if you do this.
Yeah, you're worse than me. Okay, I was trying to think of an insult where it was PG, and I didn't I couldn't come up with anything. My
If you do
vocabulary,
this, you have a worse moral compass than Moltar.
which is I don't have a moral compass. So that's pretty bad. Your negative moral compass-ality. I don't know that that's a thing. But anyway,
It is.
damn it.
We
What
just-
are you
we just
doing?
invented it. We do whatever we want.
Okay, so this is it. And ignore the background noise, or you guys can't even hear it. So my 120, and you can see the Mirage just starts spinning in circles.
Just spins.
And my
shafts and
missile hits him.
square
It
in the face.
hits him in the face and does nothing.
He just keeps flying like it ain't no thing. Yeah. And so what actually is causing this to happen then?
We don't really know. We think it's desync,
Caused by AOA?
rapid AOA changes, and we think this started when they fixed the netcode and stopped people from warping everywhere. This started happening, so we think that the update for the aircraft can't keep up or something. But this is reproducible with every aircraft in this exact maneuver. And if you actually watch them do this a lot of times, any type of rapid AOA change in these barrel rolls causes the aircraft that you're looking at to lag out. And it'll actually disappear and reappear really fast. And missiles will appear to hit it, but on the defender screen, it'll fly right by them. I'm pretty sure. It doesn't hit them.
So just out of curiosity then, is that what's causing... I've been noticing a lot of lag almost any time...
Like in a
people get into
BFM merge?
merges.
Yep.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I wonder if that's what's causing all that jumping around and stuff
It is.
too then, because you're rapidly changing your
Yep.
AOA in a merge.
That's
and
what's
all that
causing it.
stuff.
That's what's causing it. So I'm trying to get everybody to be aware of this. Most people don't know that this exists. I'm showing you guys. Please
So that
don't
you
use this.
Do this.
I ask that if you see somebody doing this, call them out on it, embarrass them, because this is stupid. This has no place in multiplayer, let alone in competitive DCS.
This
but I've
will
already
not stand on the DCS World Events public server.
I will ban you. I won't even, if I see people doing this, I'll come talk to you. I may give you a chance. If you like, I didn't know that it was doing that. And if I see you again, you're gone. I don't tolerate this because it just feels like people are taking advantage of a system, and DCS already has a hard enough time, and people are like, oh, well, it's ED's fault. And I'm going to back up ED on this and say, people that say
they just haven't had a chance to fix it yet.
Yeah, but listen, the people that say that it's ED's fault, I don't think have ever played a different type of game that is a simulator. Like let's use a totally different game. Maybe some people have heard of Total Annihilation. Came out in 1997. It's an RTS, massive robots beating the crap out of each other. Well, its successor was Supreme Commander, and they're simulators. They're not like StarCraft or something. The reason they're simulators is because every single projectile is mathematically presented in the game. And it uses the same type of system that DCS does with tracks. It does the same thing. And the same problem with them happens here, where you can't rewind tracks. People think that ED is letting them down. Guys, the sim is hugely complicating for the amount of calculations that are being done and the sheer complexity of it all. I'm amazed that I can even see flares in the same spot of the guy that's deploying them, and I can see them on a different screen from halfway across the world. It's amazing that even happens. So I totally understand why this happens, and I totally understand why the crap happens in the game. Just don't take advantage of it, because you're blatantly exploiting something that is not intended to be there. And people are like, Moltar, this can happen in single player. Man, I don't give a shit if it can happen in single player. I'll ban you in single player. I'd take away your account if I could, because you're just a nincompoop or something. Yeah, you're worse than me, and you don't want to be worse than me. So
at least Moltar doesn't do this.
No.
He doesn't roll there. He just dives away.
I'll be mad if I die, but I'll die. So just don't do this. Lots of people, more and more people are starting to do it, and maybe it's because I'm showing it, but hopefully, ED, if you're listening.
I don't think it's because you're showing it. I think this just puts a spotlight on it, and sunlight is the best disinfectant. So, like, hopefully this eventually reaches someone like Growling Sidewinder, and he can look for this.
No,
and
I've
police
told
this in his server.
I've told them already.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Nobody cares because nobody gives a shit. So JG Erdhart, what's happening? The Mirage didn't lose control. He's rapidly spinning in order to create desync on his aircraft so that the shooter's missile loses track of him, because you guys can't see it, but his aircraft is actually jumping around in a circle. So he's stationary and then disappears and reappears, disappears and reappears, and disappears and reappears, and he does that in a circle. And if you guys have noticed in multiplayer, if you're in a merge with somebody, they have a tendency now to like spaz out and warp really short distances. So instead of warping halfway across the map or into the ground, they warp like 10 feet.
Yeah.
And they do that, and they become next to impossible to hit. Right?
And that makes sense that it might have been the netcode update that caused this to happen, because that definitely makes a big difference from what used to happen with people rubber banding halfway across the map doing doing Mach 15 and stuff. And now
this
you
is
never,
better
you hardly
than
ever
that.
see that anymore.
This is better than that.
This little jumping that happens. Yeah.
Yes. This happens far less than that, and it provides a much better playing experience. So
absolutely,
I will give them credit for that. Dave GT says missiles should have proximity detection. You damn right they should.
Yes, they absolutely should. Speaking of our little thing today, we were going through the TAC views afterwards after our little match, and Comey was 26 feet away from death on an AIM-54. Now that should have detonated.
Yeah. That's true. But he actually said that the missile on his screen, so Phoenixes and Actives, they're still bothered by a bug or plagued by a bug where the missile actually doesn't exist exactly where the sprite for the missile says that it exists. It's in a different location, because on Comey's screen, so you saw where the real missile was. On Comey's screen, that missile flew right through his cockpit because it wasn't in the correct location.
Oh,
but that's an issue.
Yeah,
that's an issue that's plagued the Phoenix and active missiles for a long time. Something else that people actually don't realize is that the missile doesn't track the plane. It doesn't try and hit the plane. It tries to hit the pilot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people knew that, but the missiles in DCS try and hit the pilot, and that's why you'll always see them try and do that. Speaking of other things that are bothering me about DCS lately with missiles and stuff, I don't know what's going on with the Tomcat, but it seems like if you hit a Tomcat head on with a 120, he will not die. If you smack him in the face, and only in the face, he doesn't die. But if you hit him from the butt, he disintegrates and his wings blow off. But if you hit him from the front, he just keeps on kicking.
Yeah, isn't there something about I mean, I know the damage model is really rudimentary for the F6 for the F14.
No, the damage model is actually really good. I don't know why this happens. I don't have an answer for this.
Testing on that? Where they like shoot at the plane with ground vehicles and watch things as they break off the plane. Like the tail is literally impervious to damage. The pilots, you can't shoot or break any of the glass in the canopy or kill them. Yeah.
You can't kill them?
No, not with a combined arms unit or something like
that. But I wonder if this has something to do with what I'm seeing, because if I'm hitting it,
GR's video on it, because GR did a video where they just sat there with a combined arms and they shot at like an F-15, and then they shot at the Tomcat, and you can see just how bad the damage model really is. Like the wings on it will only break completely off. There is no like you break the flaps off of it or you break this off of it. Like they just completely fall off. It's kind of ridiculous. The F-14 Tomcat,
Mr. Migmaster, the multiplayer doesn't have, or DCS doesn't have prox fusing. It doesn't exist.
Unfortunately.
It doesn't. It's not part of that. You can have a missile fly within inches of your aircraft, and if it doesn't actually hit it, it doesn't do anything. It'll fly right by it. It doesn't work.
It's pretty disgusting. Like, I can link you this picture. It's a funny picture because it's so close. I mean,
I just put it in chat. But that's something that's been bothering me. That's something that I think's always plagued the F-14. I don't know why it does that. I don't have an answer. I'm not calling anybody out on it.
where's chat?
Well, Mr. Migmaster, if something's... I've never seen a missile blow up close to an aircraft. It doesn't, even when I'm maintaining lock the whole way, it doesn't happen. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't blow up. It'll fly right by him.
Yeah.
So unless you have, like...
You guys can check out this...
tracks or something that showcase otherwise, you know, I'm all ears, but I have never seen it. And I'm totally open to being proven wrong. I am simply stating that I have never seen a missile blow up that didn't hit the target.
Yeah, that was...
Ever in DCS. And there was actually a Reddit thing that said better lucky than good or something like that, and it was a ground SAM. And ground SAMs have proximity fuses, guys. And this ground SAM flew within like 2 feet of the guy's canopy, and nothing happened. It kept going. Didn't blow up. Just kept going. And that happens all the time. All the time. And there's actually videos where, who was it? Savior was testing desync in the missiles, and he loaded infinite weapons on somebody, and they just keep launching 120s, and the only ones that detonate are the ones that hit his aircraft. It's not a dumb myth, Mr. Migmaster. If you want to think that, go for it. But unless you can show me evidence of a missile not hitting and blowing up and killing somebody. So not detonating because it loses lock. I'm saying detonating proximity-wise within, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet of an aircraft when it's supposed to, and, you know, showing me repeated evidence that that's happening, doesn't happen in DCS. I've never seen it happen. And I've played this game for, I don't know how long.
I don't believe that
Migmaster, if they don't work, they don't exist, even if they've been coded.
Yeah.
That doesn't... There's probably tons of stuff. That's like saying Vulcan works.
It's got to be SAMs, right? Like I've never seen it happen with an air-to-air missile.
Right, but that's like
anything remotely.
That's
close.
like saying Vulcan works because it has some of the code in the existing DCS implementation. That doesn't fly at all.
Yeah.
So unless it works, it doesn't exist. I have never seen it work. I've played this game for years, and I've never seen it work. But let's move on. Anyway, so we talked about exploits.
Yeah.
Upcoming events. We've got Folds of Honor. We've got Days 3 and 4, which I'll be streaming with Mover, Gonky, and I don't know who else.
Looking forward to that.
That'll be exciting. There's a 2v2 event, a 2v2 BVR event. I don't remember what it's called. Do you? I don't.
I'm unaware of this 2v2 event, so no, I don't know what it's called. I'd like
in.
to know.
I think it's already, the registration's already closed, but it's in the tournament section
cool.
on ED. I don't remember what it's maneuver something. I'm gonna look that up. I don't remember what it's called. Jumper's asking how many people signed up. 200 people. So we got through 200 people in the past 2 days. I had 70 matches a day today and yesterday. Mutual support. Thank you. That's it. Marco and Mr. Migmaster got it. Thanks.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so we had 70 matches yesterday and then 70 matches today. We got 35 next Saturday, and then
breaking it down.
Round 4, 5, and 6 on Sunday. So lots of stuff still to go. But I didn't want to stream this weekend because I had 140 matches to get through.
Way too many.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't have time. We were running 12 servers at the same time.
Yeah, that's just way too many.
I can't. I'm running an 8700K with 64 gigs of RAM and then two 3600s with 64 gigs of RAM apiece for this. They're all in the Hetzner data center in Germany. But man, if I didn't have that, this would have taken forever. Last year we had 100 and I had 8 servers, And
Yeah.
if I didn't have 12, dude, it would have taken several more hours. We were doing it 3 hours each day, and it just took forever. But it's well done. I think we've raised coming in on $3,000 for Folds of Honor, which is
Awesome.
quite all right.
That's awesome.
So if you guys want to check that out, we'll be streaming that next Saturday and Sunday with Gonky and Mover and probably some other special guests.
And how did today and yesterday go then? Everything
Good.
was nice.
Yeah, yesterday was a little bit of a train wreck because I didn't get some information that I needed to schedule everybody. So everybody was really patient, and we got through it all right. Today ran like butter. It got everybody on a schedule. People didn't have to sit around. How did the
How's
G limits
everybody
work?
liking the G limits.
Everybody's that's participating in the event's been really good. Same people are still bitching about them on the forums for some reason.
Sure.
I don't know why. It's like the same couple people, but they worked really well. We were able to monitor them in TACView. Franz from TACView gave me a special version of TACView. I got a beta client for it that I can actively monitor G limits and program an over G limit, where if somebody breaks this G limit, there's an audible voice that says over G, and it alerts you, and it gets logged to a log so you can see it, which is really cool.
Might want to check with ED and make sure that they can utilize that.
I think it's his partner
like
that made the voice.
F-15 same thing?
No, I think it's his partner that recorded it. It sounded like it, but it worked really well.
Over G.
Worked really well. So that was really cool. The matches took dramatically longer, though, because people couldn't just rake on the AOA to come around. And people were able to maintain their fuel state a lot better because they weren't constantly pulling G, all this massive amount of G, and having to stay in gate the whole time. So it took significantly longer. But it worked really well. All the staff did really good about calling people out when they over-G'd. But for the most part, people weren't over-G'ing. It was really good.
Good deal. We have any takers on the Warbirds?
There were a couple. I don't know if any won. I think maybe one or two did. But let me tell you, their matches went a long, long time.
I'll bet they did.
Because
it's got
some of the people and nothing against people, guys, some of the people that compete in Fight for Honor haven't ever played DCS multiplayer before. So they were struggling to locate the Warbirds or locate full-size fighters, let alone a Warbird. And when you're trying to visually see a Warbird, it's hard.
It's so small.
Especially because when you're trying to see things in the radar just doesn't see it because it's like, what? He's a flying notch. I can't see him. It's like a bug flying out there. So I didn't get to watch any of them. I got to monitor things in TACView. I mean, I had 12 TACView instances running at the same time, everything in real-time telemetry, which is pretty cool to watch. I mean, it's I don't know, seeing that many things happen and be able, it's like you're it's
almost like you're at
NASA.
or something.
No, it's like you're at NASA, man, watching all this stuff with data everywhere. It's really cool. So that was really cool.
Right on.
RCS has no effect on the notch gate, though. No, it doesn't.
No, but the fact that the Warbirds only fly at like 250 miles per hour does. And we're not talking knots. We're talking miles per hour.
Yeah, they were just really slow. And the only reason I brought up their size was because they're hard to see. Like, you can't see them because they're itty-bitty in comparison to everything else. So the guys were flying in circles.
Acquire a Warbird is impossible.
Like there was one match where they actually kept flying in circles. The Warbird couldn't see the jet, and the jet couldn't see the Warbird, and they flew so long the jet ran out of gas.
It sucks.
It took a long time, but it's all good. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was really, really receptive. Win or lose, everybody had a great time. It's always fun to do this because everybody's just there to have fun.
More importantly, they raised a bunch of money for that awesome
for Folds of Honor. Yep,
Folds of Honor is fantastic. So.
Yep, that is really true. But Beaver, I think it's time we do the TACView. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna send you guys to a Be Right Back screen. We're gonna grab Rage from Rage. Task Force Trident. We're gonna go over his TACView, and then we're gonna jump to Marco for Joint Task Force France and go through their stuff. So I'm gonna send you guys a big Be Right Back screen while we get this all set up, and we will be right back.
Still says waiting for.
You got to load the TAC view.
Yeah, I'm in it. Same file.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
I posted the TACView file, and you downloaded it, and you loaded.
well, now I seem to have lost you.
Oh no!
The fun times of DCS, never ceasing to... There we go. Now it decided that it wanted to make you a black box. There. Okay. I fixed it. We're back with TACView. We're joined now with Task Force Trident's Rage Invest. Rage, how are you?
Not bad. How are you guys?
Good. I'm honestly ready to go to bed and go to sleep. Today's been a long day. Did Fight for Honor, then I had a training match, and then we went out and saw our house that's being built. And now I'm down here because Beaver wanted me to. So now we're here.
Thank you, Voltar.
I try. I try and keep as many people happy as possible. I fixed your music for you, Zank. And you guys don't have music in here. Why is there no music? I'm going to fix that real quick.
The rum always gone?
Oh, is there music in here? Where the hell's the music? Anyway, we'll just do it without music. So,
All right.
Beaver, I'll let you lead this one. I'll just provide my insight. And Rage, I think we want to know kind of what you guys were thinking, what your mindset was through this whole thing, and just take us through what was going on with you guys during the fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start it off here on your ingress. We'll speed it up a little bit.
And try and center as much as you can during this.
Roger.
Just because the camera is only going to capture the
center portion.
The center. So I tried to cut out all the other stuff to make it look nice and pretty for as many people as possible.
Alrighty.
Left
So
all entry at full screen.
So Rage, what was your mindset going into this? I mean, what was your guys' game plan going against the Joint Task Force France?
So at first we wanted to send them. First of all, we wanted to see whether they were any different from the last couple of times that we fought them. Because the last couple of times they didn't get much practice themselves in BVR and as a team. So we offered them a couple of practice with some of our guys that we were training up, and they did well there. And then we were hoping to, get a good fight out of them this time as well. So by the time we got into the actual fight, it was, I mean, there was no reason to really change exactly what we did from the last time. Just keep your eyes open and see what they do and see if we can change, adjust to that. So there's a kind of element chainsaw going on here, and we split up a couple of times, get back together.
Cool.
It's just going from there. It kind of breaks down into ACM, before the end actually. So.
Did you guys have any game plan going in with 2 Tomcats? I mean, half of your guys' force is Tomcats.
Yeah, I mean, the Tomcats it's just a long stick. It's a bit of range, and then the F-16s can be more aggressive. But the Tomcats, it's like the hammer and anvil. The Tomcats are the spear points, and then those little F-16s are the cavalry.
Sure.
That makes sense. And was this A weapon restriction or B? I don't remember.
This looks like a B.
This was B. Okay. So is there a point that you guys, I mean, take us through what's going on. Like, what are you trying to push at this given point in
You
time?
guys are pretty north of Bulls here.
Yeah, we are pushing at that point. Now this in the first round, it was all going all right up until this point. It kind of goes wrong a bit later in the round. Now that shot right there, that cold shot in the F-14, that's a calculated shot. And you just look at him, he's inside of 15 miles. He's heading cold.
Which one?
Shoot him. This missile here, left side.
I think if...
You're just looking for these opportunities.
Oh, the one that you shoot.
At this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's what, 13 miles? That Phoenix will catch him 15 miles cold, 16 miles cold. So even on the deck.
Yeah, and he is up at 10,000 feet, around 10,000 and climbing.
Can you move the camera up there?
Well. Yeah.
So we can. There you go.
So we see the exchange here, where he's up at about 10,000, and Gemini's climbing, and starting to turn for a re-engage. Right as he gets initiated, it looked like he tried to notch there, and he needed to trust the notch. That needs to be a shirt. I'm telling you.
Trust the notch.
He needed to trust the notch. He was in a good notch, and then starts to turn.
And he panics.
What's his altitude at this point?
3,000 feet and descending.
Yeah, he's diving.
He's probably Wheat's level. Can you jump to his first-person camera and you can see exactly how high he is?
Yeah, absolutely.
How high Gemini is. So he's
5,000 feet radar.
Yeah, keep going. I think we're back a little bit. Yeah, he's going to be right on top of the trees. Yeah.
Maybe a bit earlier if he'd went into that diving crank and reversed or something.
I think his
right
biggest
when he turns.
His mistake there was he didn't trust the notch and he tried to break out. If he would have committed to the notch, I think he would have been okay.
Because he's recommitting, probably getting the RWR warning now, and realizes it and goes to the deck and tries to stay in the notch.
Yeah.
And then just decides to go cold. And
shows the Phoenix as an M, whereas other jets show it as a U generally, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So for him, Phoenix, that's the same thing as an M120, and then all of a sudden he gets popped.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason the RWR in the F6 in the F14 shows everything as an M. Doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Well, unless it's a Fox 1, it shows the jet.
Yeah. Then it shows the jet. But if it's a Fox 3,
I didn't know that the Tomcat did that.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why. Interesting. Okay, well that was a solid shot. So you guys capitalized on that. Who was your Rio during this rage?
Stahl Volve, he's called.
Okay.
From Germany. Yeah, he's a good Rio. Very good Rio. At this match in particular, things started to break down after this point. There's a couple of things. I don't want to give away too much of our tactics or anything, but there's a couple of things that are breaking down here and aren't going quite as I would like, especially at these points here. Definitely starting to break down.
Right.
So it's kind of like
a little deep.
There was some comms failures and people were getting a bit rushed and too much adrenaline and not being able to cope with it very well. So
can you back up a smidge?
Down, and then the match was kind of getting more chaotic and it kind of cascaded into a failure.
Right.
It's not as
it happened. It's like a melee.
Yeah, even this first round. I mean, we won the first round, but it's certainly not as good as I wanted it.
Yeah, we they liken it. They use that phrase knife fight in a telephone booth a lot, and that's kind of what happens, and it just happens so fast you don't even really see it coming. Just my other question would be, does Chewie have a Rio on this one, or is he just using Jester?
I think Chewie does. He's got another one of our head members crash.
Can you back up a couple seconds and move the camera up a little bit? I don't know if you guys can see.
He doesn't trust the notch here either.
Yeah.
So
Marco gets
also
hit.
Plague on the right side, he gets hit as well.
Well, Plague Doctor, I think his downfall here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rage, because you're in this match, I think he just defends the wrong way. He defends right instead of defending left.
He stays committed even before that, because the missile comes out from Rex, and that's the killer missile.
Can you go to Plague Doctor's first-person view? Yeah.
You'll see there. I mean, the missile was sent from Rex, and he would have called that missile. And
So this is him seeing his missile go in, splash bandit, and then turns.
Yeah, he just defends the wrong
Gets
way.
hit.
Yeah. And he.
But if he hadn't committed to that opponent in the first place,
that's
then
true.
That missile would have been cold.
But man, that was the missile at Mach 1.8. I thought Raph was at Mach 1.8. I was like, dang, he is fast. But you're right. If he didn't commit like he did, he'd probably still be alive. But I think another factor, that played into this was virtually everyone in this scenario, in this fight, is low. There's nobody that's high. There's nobody that can, give you guys the picture of what the data link or what the AWACS doesn't see. And I'm betting that Plague Doctor just didn't see him, didn't know that Raph was there.
Generally, be getting information from his element lead there, which at this point is Rex.
Right.
And if Rex is telling him that he's defending left, he'd follow him, defending left. Because just in case that guy, he might launch 2 missiles. So you'll want to defend left with him, and that way you're staying with your wingman. And he's already launched a missile, so the other guy's got to turn cold anyway. So it just goes from there.
Yeah. Huh. So that ends up being a trade. And then what happens there with
trades? Oh no, is it? That's not
with Chewie?
He doesn't notch. Also, he's too low on the deck all the way along. If you take a look from horizontally, you'll see he's at feet off the ground.
He's also very low. Let's see where he's at. Yeah, he's at 600 feet off the deck.
He's got no
Beaver, you can actually move the camera in this view. You can click and then drag, and you'll look in different directions. So if you play it, you can actually find the missile and watch it come in from this point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, he's belly blind until he rolls basically wings level here.
Yeah.
And he knows that it's coming in.
Well, this match wasn't flown in the latest patch, so that wouldn't be an issue. I think this was just a panic. He didn't know what to do because he was low. That came from close, and there's not much you can do in that. You have to commit to the notch early. And how fast was he?
It's probably 500.
Yeah, 600 knots.
He's really fast.
He's moving real quick.
So did you guys want to rage, get into the close-in scenarios, or did you want to stay at a distance? I mean, what were you guys trying to do in these situations? What type of fight were you trying to create?
Well, it's kind of like that OODA loop mentality. You come in, you started out slow, you'll speed up the tempo, and then you'll decrease the tempo, speed it up, and then you kind of want to climax in that kind of ACM range and just go in and kill the last 2 people. Hopefully you kill 2 of them or 3 of them in the BVR section. But it's more about trying to overwhelm bit by bit. You don't waste all your missiles, so you'll I mean, that's why we kind of move the way we do in the BVR. We're trying to create some tempo changes, and then we'll come in, and we do want to essentially devolve down into that ACM range.
iPod Pilot, the boxes that you see that these crosses create, up north to south, is about, I think, 5 miles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about 5 miles if I remember right. Those little boxes. How far separated are they? Yeah, it's about 5 miles. And they're about
2 miles, so
3 miles across. Just to give you an idea when you're looking at these boxes. So 5 miles from north to south for each one of these boxes, and then about 3 miles east to west, just so you guys can get an approximation of how close everybody is without us having to bring out the ruler every time. So any reason for the double tap there, Rage? Just trying to get him to defend the AIM-7 and have the AIM-9 kick his ass?
Well, I was hoping that second AIM-7, I was thinking that might have killed him, but just in case I had to maneuver out the way, I launched the AIM-9 as well. But the first AIM-7, which is just off to my right side there, that was launched to try and get him off of Rex.
That makes sense.
If you can defend. And then I'll come in and, whilst he's maneuvering, fire a Fox 2 or another Fox
Beaver,
1.
can you back up to where that happened? Where he launches the first AIM-7?
Yeah.
So the first one was like an emergency missile. And then the next 2 were intended for the kill. It's just the Fox 1 didn't get him. I'll double tap Fox 1, Fox 2 anyway, because if they defend the Fox 1, they're not expecting a Fox 2.
So okay, so you're trying at this point to use the aim 7 to force a panic situation out of Zank to get him to break off of Rex. It honestly looks like he just does not care about that aim 7.
He literally, like, I don't know if he didn't get the RWR warning at all, or if he just did not give up.
Zank,
he did not care at all.
Zank is in chat. Zank, did you care about that aim 7 at all? Like, did you just totally ignore it? Get the missile warning and be like, whatever, I'm just going to keep the press? What was your mindset there? Yeah. So then the double shot here with the 9 and the 7 is just trying to get him to defend one and have him hit the next one?
Yeah, aim 9 misses as well, but it looks a bit.
Yeah, you get him with the
aim 7 that got him. Yeah.
The second aim 7 gets him.
Yeah, iPod, you can do that, but we just don't want to be constantly having to select different stuff. We get lazy, is I guess what the thing is. So then so you take him down. Now it's a 2v1 scenario. What's your mindset going into this 2v1 against Raph?
Well, generally I'd like to regroup, reset, and then come back in. But again, as I'm saying, by this time, it's complete chaos. Even rewinding back before Zank here, before that first missile on Zank, I was getting calls from Rex saying that he could see me in a data link 20 miles away, heading the wrong direction, turn around, you're going the wrong way, right? Comms were getting really, really, really chaotic. And, you know, things getting a bit shouty, people getting a bit worked up. The SA was gone pretty much. So once I got Zank, that kind of confirmed to Rex, okay, that guy was on my 6, he was chasing that guy, he wasn't 25 miles away going the wrong way. Oh, here's another target, I'll go kill him. And at that point, there's no reset. I think he fires off his last missile here, and he's low on fuel, and he doesn't commit to the notch.
Now, what is your guys' weapon situation and fuel situation at this point?
I've got one aim 9 and guns, and I'm committing to this fight, and I'm expecting missile shots, expecting 120s, and I'm expecting to have to maneuver to try and defeat them. So I've only got about 2,000 pounds of fuel, maybe 2,500 at most.
Can you back up, Beaver, and go to the view of the missile?
This 120 here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Take that back.
Left control, left click on the missile, and then F6. Is it F5? F5.
I don't know the F commands. I just know there's the button.
F5 gets to it, and F6 is back to your main.
All right, so there it's coming in on him, and he just basically outruns it.
Yep.
But
he does.
It's sniffing him.
It is, like, but it was actually a lot further away than it looked.
Yeah.
And Zank on that aim 7 says he totally ignored it. He just didn't care. Oh, his SA was quite poor, so he may have not even noticed it. Okay. That makes sense.
He just flies away.
Credit to Raph there, though, in that situation. He's fast enough that he takes the right course and out energies that weapon. So well done by him.
Yeah. So now coming into the merge here, do you have any idea any clue of maybe how many weapons Raph has left, or if he has any left?
Well, I've got to suspect he at least has one. If I don't behave like he has one, then I'm kind of being a bit crazy. But
you're not doing it right.
I'm lower than him here, and you'll see these little maneuvers, just trying to get some lead turn ready, and then he fires that missile, and I saw it coming down. I was like, okay. Well, that's quite above me.
It is. It's coming down. It's coming down at you. But
and it just misses me.
Yeah.
And I misjudged my Fox 2 shot after this.
The AIM 9M, yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that where I think they take panic shots where they take them as soon as they've got tone, which is very easy to do. We all do it, right? But you end up in these high aspect situations, and you take the shot, and the missile just can't deal with it.
Now you're in
it's a shame as well, because I've got a nice shot on him just after this bit right here.
Yeah,
it's what always happens.
You're in a very advantageous position right here, and the fight's slowing down, and you're getting some snapshots. You're getting that Tomcat down to that really tight,
At this
turning
moment,
angle that it has.
I'm dogfighting this now on 4 mil because I'm afraid that I'll run out of gates. I think I went into gates a little bit on one of the vertical loops, but that was it.
Man.
Maybe 1 or 2 seconds.
Did you hit him on this first big burst?
I think on the first burst he does. That's why I'm trying to go back and check. Oh no, he doesn't.
I
He
don't
doesn't.
think so. It goes just past his 6.
And I don't think he hits
close.
him on this second one either. It's the third one that he hits. Raph actually it looks like he makes the mistake of breaking off the rate fight and trying to fight
Something
with
like
you
Again, goes into the vertical.
at low speed. Well, he goes in the vertical and stops holding 0.8 Mach and drops. And dropping down to the 0.4, 0.5, I'm assuming that's exactly where you want him. You're going to outmaneuver him all day.
Mm-hmm. But even at
Close
that, I
the
mean,
distance.
the F-14 without any limitations, it's got good 1 circle and 2 circle potential. So, and it's really light at this point. I've probably got 1,500 pounds of fuel just now.
Right.
So it's well, maybe a bit more than that. I think I finished the dogfight maybe 1,800 pounds. So that thing's just maneuvering like mad.
That's really true. You're in a higher energy state than he is. You get a
Catch
good
him on
hit
the
here.
reverse. Yeah, that's he fixes some of your geometry problems here by reversing that turn.
Well, he's dead here.
Jinx into the guns.
Yeah, he solves all your problems at this point. I guess he's trying to force the overshoot, which he does, but he's out of fuel.
Like, he uses his momentum and he almost gets a shot at me here. So I've got to continue around on that loop and just.
So in this vertical maneuver, are you hitting the burner or no?
No burner.
Yeah, you're getting slow. It doesn't
Well,
look
'cause
like you have a-
Rage doesn't
Right.
know that Raph is out of fuel at this point. Well, I guess Raph isn't totally out of fuel, but he's getting close, if I remember right.
It's actually.
Yeah.
Well, coming around here, I'm still expecting I've got to come into another loop.
Man, he almost gets you on that shot where you coming down in front of his nose.
I was gonna. I mean, usually I'd jink out a plane on that, but he hadn't shot by a certain point. It was a bit risky, but I was kind of confident that.
And I wonder now if he's got to be out of gas at this
He
point,
is.
right? Yeah, because there he goes. He just ejects.
Yeah, I remember when this happened. Because
His
Rage
plane
got one. There were like 1 or 2 rounds that hit Raph's aircraft, and I don't know if that caused his engine to stop.
I think it hit his fuel and just burned off all what little fuel he had, basically.
I didn't see him
It might have
leaking
hit a
fuel.
stab as well. I mean, looking at the way he noses up at the end there, that looks like it hit a stab.
Quite
Yeah, it
possibly.
could've
I
been.
just remember hearing at least 1 or 2 rounds hit Raph's aircraft. So, guys, it wasn't luck. Rage hit him. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
There were some 20 millimeter high explosive that hit Raph's aircraft, and I was surmising during the stream when I was casting it that caused the failure. But
It
come to find
caused
out
something.
from Joint Task Force France, he ran out of fuel. So I think it was both.
So you come over the top here, you notice that he's down, and now your thought is, okay, how am I going to get home? How far am I home? Because you see, you're quite north of Bulls here, and you still got to get all the way back to Gudada.
Well, I'll let you in on a secret. I've done this before. I think I glided about 56, 57 miles.
Right.
Before,
Tomcat's a
Tomcat.
good glider.
It really is.
At this point, it's light enough. You just go full mil, 10
And get as
10
high
degree
as you
climb.
can.
Yeah, and I think just now we're about 90 something, 92, 93 miles away from Gudada. But if I can get up to 30, 35, 40,000 feet, then I can glide really long ways. So especially with no fuel.
Yeah, because
So I'm quite confident I'll make it. I was getting a little bit worried, just a little bit.
So how much fuel do you have right now?
Maybe. I think when I finished that fight, it was maybe about 1,000, somewhere around about the 1,500 mark, 1,700 the most.
And the Tomcat shuts off at 400. You don't
300,
have
yeah.
3 or 400. It doesn't go all the way to 0. So
Yeah.
whatever it says, you actually have 300 pounds less.
I didn't know that either.
Mm-hmm. It
I
doesn't.
actually-
It represents it being an old plane and the thing's not reading correctly.
Well, I actually, I climbed until I run out of fuel, and then I just dropped the nose immediately.
Yeah,
as soon as
you
the engine
maintained
starts to
250 knots really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. The whole time indicated it's just 250 basically the whole way in. So.
Yeah, just trying to keep those fans going.
Well, he said he had experience, and he did. He made it home. I was concerned though when you made it. You were just coming into finals, and your gear stopped coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, it's got
remember
that little
seeing
hand
that.
pump on the left-hand side, so
So you can.
problem
Get
is
the-
I don't have actual track IR. My head tracking's a little bit wobbly, so when I look down and I'm aiming with a mouse,
Mm-hmm.
with a good old hand pump, my head likes to move around a little bit in the cockpit,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a little bit of a juggle trying to get that point.
Especially with your nerves have got to be starting to get to you at this point because you just
Well-
come off of the dogfight and you win it and you don't want to screw the pooch here right at the end.
The nerves were during the climb. I've done this part before, and by this point, as soon as I start nosing down a bit more rapidly, I know I'm gonna get that
Yeah,
runway.
you know you've got it.
So it's just put the gears down. I think I put them down once and I put them back up again. Just thinking,
You did,
"Ah,
yeah.
It's like you used them as a brake to slow you down somewhere. Like when you really started to steepen your descent, it's like
Mhm.
right about here. Like you put them down, and you're using them as a
I think
brake, and then they go up,
second
and then
time they were downward there.
yeah,
If you
then
come back.
then you got to handle. You got to use that
Yeah.
pump to get them down. But that was a really well flown match by both teams. But you really had to use every resource at your disposal in order to win it. So
It worked out.
Yeah,
You guys took it.
JTFF they did a lot better this time, especially because I think in the previous 2 matches they never got any kills on us.
Yeah, yeah.
I
that's
hit the ground once in the first match, but that was it. And Chewie disconnected in the other one.
oh, it's unfortunate. You hate to
So
see those
this one-
disconnects.
This match they did really well. They made a good comeback, good progression with it. So
Yep, that's true.
I
Absolutely.
was happy to see. I was both gutted and happy, really. It's
Yeah.
a bit of both, you know.
It's nice to see teams improve, but not necessarily at the cost of you playing them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice to see competition, but you don't want to have to be the one that's paying that price at the end of it. So
Yeah. Well,
So
that kind of affects the mentality
Mhm.
of our team, as you see from the next 2 rounds. And then I think it considering the fact that they never got any kills the last 2 matches, now that they've got 3 kills and almost neutralized the match with running out of fuel, I think
Mhm.
that kind of bolstered their confidence a bit. for
That's
the
a
next
good
2
point.
rounds.
That's a good
yeah,
point. I didn't think about that.
They probably went into that with you or trying to have you landing. They're probably sitting there talking the whole time. They're going, we were able to get all 3 of them here. If we just tighten things up a little bit, I think we can win. 'Cause I've
Yeah.
been in that situation before too.
Well, that's what you'll see in the next rounds when you go to those.
Right.
You'll see same thing. We kind of pushed too far, and there was a point where I thought, well, we should reset, but things just got more chaotic and it broke down even more. So they managed to take advantage of that, and then the 4th round was. I think they actually came past that bullseye our way, if I remember. But they fought us to the merge essentially,
Right.
and did
Their
really well.
confidence started to get bolstered, if you will.
Definitely.
At the end of that. Well, Rage, I'd ask you what you're going to do against them in the next time you see them, but I don't want to ruin or spoil anything or expose
I don't
anything
think
that you
we've
guys
got
are
another
planning.
match with them,
Yeah, but
unless it's
final or
after.
the tournament and stuff. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys
the
will probably
tournament,
fly against them. Maybe not, but
it's more GR we're preparing for now.
oh,
Okay.
the Grim Reapers, are they in your guys' division?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, they're at the. I think they're at the top of the division.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah,
what's
at the moment, at the moment.
Well, we're fairly excited about it. But what's their? I think at the time of this match, just before this match, we were on the top.
Okay.
We had a kill to death ratio similar to Tor at the moment.
Oh.
If we had won this match the same way we won the previous matches, we would have had a kill ratio of about 7.
Oh. Okay.
Roughly. I think we would have had 1 less kill and 1 more death than Tor.
I didn't realize that either.
Quite close to it.
Huh.
But then we lost this match and it all goes to shit, so...
Well, as they say, it happens. So
Hopefully you guys are able to come back from it and it makes you stronger.
absolutely.
And
Hopefully.
it comes out of the teams that are able to utilize these situations as learning situations are the teams that inevitably are the ones that nobody wants to face. So
Yep.
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do in the future. This was the whole match was amazing. I think this round was probably one of my favorites of the entire year, just because of how everything went and how close it was. And
it took
ended
it literally to the wire.
Yeah, you guys ran out of fuel when you were landing. I mean, it was how much closer does it get? And it was a guns kill at the very end, so it was just an awesome match. So before we part ways here, Rage, is there anything else you want to say, or if not, it's all good. I just didn't know if you had any closing things or anything.
Just congrats to JTFF. They did very well, played well, and came together. I want to see more of that from them.
Yeah.
Especially in their upcoming matches.
Awesome.
Well, I want to see more of you guys coming out on top too.
That's for sure.
I think you got it in you.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. It's always insightful to see what's going on in the heads of the teams as they're going through rounds and matches. It's one thing to cast them. It's another thing to relive what they actually felt and were seeing and thinking during these actual matches and engagements. So I appreciate you taking your time to come on here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No problem.
So,
thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening.
Take it easy, Rage.
All right, guys.
You guys.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to go back to another Be Right Back scene, and then we were going to bring on Joint Task Force France's Marco, and we are going to go through the next 2 rounds of this same engagement. So bear with us. We're going to bring him on and keep this ball rolling. See you guys back here in just a minute. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Joint Task Force France's Marco. Marco, you're the team lead for Joint Task Force France, is that right?
That is correct, yes. I'm the team lead for the SATAL 2020-2021 team, I guess we can say.
Well, it's great to have you guys involved in SATAL. I think this is your guys' first year involved with the Gold League, so it's always great to have new teams. Brought you on to kind of give us an idea of what's going on in your head, what's going on with your team, what your guys' game plan was going into this matchup with Task Force Tridents. We're here in round 2. Obviously, in round 1, as we went through with Task Force Tridents Rage, you guys didn't come out on top in that round, even though it was a really close one. What were you guys thinking after that round took place?
Oh, we were pumped, honestly. I mean, like Rage said at the end there, we were coming back from 3 defeats in a row, 1 against Grim Reapers and 2 against TFT, and pretty bad defeats, like 8-0 and 8-1. So after that round, when, we thought it was basically a roll of dice. When you get into a merge 1v1, it can go both ways. You're never gonna, most of the times if you do 10 merge, you're not gonna have 10 times the same winner. So we were really thinking, okay, well, what we did last round was good, just a better execution and a bit more luck maybe or something, and we can definitely take them. We can do it. So we were pretty honestly happy going into round 2.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was your game plan going into this match? I mean, what were you trying to establish or do coming into this?
Well, basically, we're going against 2 F14 and 2 F16. We have our F14 of our own, and then in front we have the 3 4th gen, you can say, maybe with the 2 F16 and the 1 GF17.
Mm-hmm.
The game plan is more or less to play defensive BVR with the F16s and the GF17 if we can, defend those Phoenixes from the 2 Tomcats and try to get them close, because we feel like in closer range we'll have an advantage against 2 F14s. Maybe a bit better SA at close range, a radar that's a bit faster to manipulate, and so basically our goal is to close the range, defend those Phoenix, and try to get them as close as we can, so we can use the speed and the efficiency of our F16s. And yeah, go ahead.
With this long Phoenix shot, is it just there to try and grab somebody early, to break up their formation? What's the idea behind this?
It is to try to. We know they're gonna defend that. That's why we only fire 1 at most at the beginning. It's just basically to, if someone is being negligent and overconfident, they might be caught by it. But we are expecting it to be defended. But it allows us to get in place and to not allow them to run us down too fast, basically.
Okay. Quick question, just to set things up a bit. Does Gemini have a Rio, or is he utilizing Jester? Okay, good.
He does.
Cool.
We would not bring a F14 without a Rio, I think. It's just not worth it, I believe.
Yeah, you'd have to rely. Basically, everything has to rely on Jester because you have control over what he selects in TWS.
Yeah. So yeah, then you can see here, just we have a little bit more spacing than I'd like to, but the general idea is that we were expecting Phoenix that were not coming this time, to be honest. So that's why we are notching as the 3 ship, anticipating for that Phoenix defense, and letting Gemini up by himself down there. But here you can see Zank going cold, setting up for helping us when we'll need to turn cold as the 2 early F16 2 ship pressing.
Okay, so you're kind of setting up
You're setting up a stinger.
Chainsaw grinder thing over here.
Yeah, and the goal is to allow Gemini to get back some altitude maybe, and take some good PK shots while we're fighting closer, notching and pressing, or notching and aborting basically. And then here you can see we see a flanking opportunity on the two F-14s that are down the coast with Raf and myself, but unfortunately we couldn't press it. They realized us and turned on us. So we had to defend again.
Now you are starting to close those ranges down. You are getting inside that that dangerous range where these 54s, they are really good, but your 120s are actually now effective.
Yeah, it's like we want to get to a point where we can trade in a situation of notch or die, basically, because we feel pretty confident about notching close AM54s or terrain mask, because there is a bit of terrain there. You can see it on the tag view. So closing the range actually helps us a little bit.
And they came like basically right into you for it, so that almost helped you out to some degree.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it's at this point we're gonna lose the first plane, which is me, getting a team killed, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah, there he goes. So what happened there is Gemini was called. If you back up a little bit, and he called Tumbleweed. He had very little SA. Basically, he was very afraid to be merged. And I told him, well, you're clear, I'm right behind you. And he said he was pitching in and targeting the guy who's up north, the closest guy, and unfortunately he just goes PAL or whatever the close range auto lock is on the F-14, and he just not sure if I don't remember honestly if Gemini called the Fox before his Rio had time to IFF, or it was a mistake by the backseater. But yeah, once the Phoenix was away, I wasn't really sure which way was coming, so I could not defeat that.
And as TFT here, when you see that team kill pop up in the chat, you're going, oh, we had this really close round last time. Maybe it won't be as difficult this time.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was very happy about the team mentality at this point, because what we tried to improve as well, we did a lot of trainings after those bad defeats, but while we tried to improve our mentality, because we realized, listening to the tapes, that once we lost one guy, it was kind of like all the team was like, okay, it's over, we lost. And here the team did really well in the 3 vs 4 situation, at mutual support and keeping kind of some faith that let's not give up.
Yeah, we can still do this. Definitely.
So yeah, and then Gemini kind of goes into a.
Oh yeah, this is nice. Gemini is able to leak in here.
Yeah, not sure. I mean, we got pretty lucky. They just didn't catch him on radar, and on SA he was probably fading half the time. And that M7, I don't know, man. Why? Why would he go the other way? I'm not sure. But
that M7 says nope.
Maybe there was a boat or something, feet wet, and he said, "Yep, I'm going that way." Not sure,
but the M9 does get him.
The M9 does get him,
and he's able to come in here and equalize the fight.
Yeah, and I think it kind of all of us the sudden for TFT they have one guy in the middle of their formation that's died, and I think it allows Raf and Zank to press in, because now they have to turn around and look for a guy that's behind them mostly.
Yeah, because they're thinking that maybe there's still a leaker back there.
Yeah, because I think maybe that helped us at the end there. Definitely.
Unless Rage physically saw him, which he probably did, given that Rage is lower. He probably saw him passing.
I don't think so. I think he got a call from the AWACSing merge, and that's why he reversed. I think that's what he said in the aftermatch. He just had the AWACS call merged, so that's why he goes up and reverses, I think. Okay.
And no, guys, I'm not talking. I'm just chilling. Beavers, they got this.
So, and then you've got this ingress here, the AIM-54 coming off, but you get the trade.
I do. What? No, it wasn't me. It was Rafe.
Raph, yeah, Raph.
Yeah, Raph does get the trades. I mean, at the end of the day, SATAL is a 4v4, so you, of course, you want to go back as a 4-ship. But if you get a trade, I mean, you've done your job. I mean, you've done it's a good thing. So,
but there's also that slight delay where he gets hit and he's like, "Oh, I'm down," and then there's that little bit of delay while that missile's flying before it finally hits.
Oh yeah,
and you get that thing and you go, "Oh wait, it's still even,"
And you don't even know it because you're supposed to disconnect, right? So sometimes if you disconnect quickly enough, you don't even know if you traded or not. But yeah, thankfully it was pretty close, about maybe 1.5 seconds, maybe 1 second. Otherwise, it would have been a 3v2. And then 2v2 can go both ways at this point. It's pretty much first ones who see the others, and we were Zank here at his eyes well placed. He spotted the F-16 and make a quick work of that with a PL5, I believe. It was a Fox 2, I believe.
Yep, PL5 right on
PL5
to
away.
Doctor there.
And he saw the missile because he flared right away, so good on him, but wasn't enough, unfortunately for him. And then again a 2v1. Again, an F-14, which is still has a Phoenix. Yeah, here Gemini got really. I mean, it was a very close Phoenix. I think less than 3 miles, 2 miles, and he just whirled around, and the Phoenix in full burner wasn't able to turn.
So I think what happened here was it was the AOA thing that we were talking about, but nobody knew about it at this point, and the missile just didn't know what to do with itself.
I don't think because it didn't roll really. I mean, it did not do like a two full barrel rolls in a row.
No, I thought I remember
rapid change of AOA.
I thought I remember. I'm not saying he did. The only reason I'm saying this is because I thought I remember on the track him like disappearing and reappearing, but I don't remember.
Okay.
So I'm not saying he did anything wrong because, guys, I want to point out that this took place over a month ago.
We briefed the guy about the exploits.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not calling anybody out for doing anything wrong. This was a long time ago. I'm looking at this now in hindsight. You know, we realize things as we learn things, and I'm not saying even that happened. That was a really close Phoenix, and sometimes when they're launched that close, they take a while to accelerate, and they can't pull a whole lot of G's. So can you actually, Beaver, can you go to that?
What's the range? Yeah.
We'll go to the
Phoenix, because I want to know what it actually did. Yeah, it's not fast enough. It's way too slow. So regardless, regardless of what Gemini would have done there, if he caused any type of AOA, dude, that missile's not going to be able to pull with him.
Yeah.
Because this is a 3-mile shot.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
This is super close. So there's no way that thing's going to be able to stay with him. And when we watch it from the AIM 54's perspective here. See, he does
a little, but it wouldn't. I don't think it would have had enough energy or energy available to be able to pull down with him. It wouldn't.
Because it's pulling 7 Gs, but it's only at 700 knots. Like it just doesn't have the ability to pull massive G without that massive energy state, and it just doesn't have it, and so it can't.
But that's the desync that I was talking about. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. It's just rapid inductions of AOA in any direction cause this to happen. But again, guys, this was over a month ago. We didn't even know this was a thing. So they're perfectly fine. And that missile I don't think would have hit him anyway because it was way too slow. So we're down to a 2v1, right, with Gemini?
Yep. 2v1. He's engaged. He's engaged guns, I believe. Or no, he has M9s, but and Zeng just has to reset and find the fight.
And this is F-14 versus F-14. So this is going to be like.
And we went into a pretty funny situation when Zeng here calls a tally 2, who's who. And Gemini goes, I'm flaring, and as soon as he flares, Chewie here very smartly flares as well, So
Oh,
so now
yeah.
like he has two Tomcats flaring, and that was pretty funny and well done on their part to flare. And he doesn't fox on this. I mean, it just blows through the merge because he's not
Yeah.
sure, I think.
Which is
And,
really smart to not
it
take
is,
the shot.
and Gemini was in pretty offensive position. He was getting the best out of Chewie here, and he gets into an M9 range here. I would
Yep.
have liked Zeng to go away, not by passing in front of the opponent F14, but he goes up, I guess, so that's good. And he gets away from that M9, and yeah, we get the kill here. Pretty pumped. I was after the team kill. I was away from my computer, so I came back and like, okay, what's the result? And they're like, oh, we got this. We're going home, and I was pretty
Had to go break something real quick.
yeah, I had to go reset my mind.
Yeah. So, and at this point, what is the fuel states like with you guys? Is it
Oh, pretty easy. It was a pretty
you guys still
big
had plenty
fight.
of fuel left? Yeah.
Yeah. We weren't.
So it's an easy
concerned.
RTP. Cool.
Yeah, easy RTB. No stress at all.
All right. So we'll just go ahead and move into the next round then.
Yep.
While we're doing that, quick shout out to Gordo B for the 2 gifted subs. I think it's
There we
2.
go.
Yeah, 1 to Southern Jumper and 1 to Seraphim.
And I believe he gave me one last match, so thank you, Gordo.
I feel like he's gifting all of the SATAL pilots the their stuff. I got one from him too. I was like, oh, thanks, Gordo. So shouts out to Gordo, man. So here you are. You're back in your original scenario. You're coming from.
Yeah,
Crimson
coming
again.
from north, and yeah, basically same thing for us, same game plan.
Yeah,
And we tried the long range Phoenix as well. We tried a bit longer range, I believe. I think it was around 60 miles, to see, trying to get into mind games. But maybe we expect them to fire, they expect us to fire, so nobody's firing to keep them, and because
Yeah.
everybody's gonna defend anyway, and so we thought if we can fire the missile before he gets into contrails. I mean, they can't see the contrail. Maybe they'll not defend. But I believe we had a kill on that shot. Gemini was able to support it. I mean, Kilowatt, I should say, who was the backseater, was able to support it a long way. And I believe they had to change pilots, and he was a new pilot on the main roster. I believe Rage said he was his first round of SATAL official, and they get here. The 2 F-16 get surprised here a bit high still, and he gets popped, which is unlucky for him, but good for us.
Hey, what's his altitude? Yeah, he's still at 21,000. He's got to get low.
Yeah.
He's trusting the notch at least, but he's
Well,
just not low enough.
This is Animal's first round in this
Yeah,
matchup,
it is.
and I think he
it
just
is.
wasn't warmed up, and he just caught.
But I mean, if you look at it, if we had fired 2, we would have done 2 kills, because he's just firing his wing lead. I mean, his element lead, right?
Now, one thing I do want to point out here is there is a decent possibility, because we've all done it, that he forgot to turn his RWR on.
That's possible, yeah, because he doesn't seem to react to the pitbull warning. It's true, or he's just having confidence in his flight lead, because you're told it's
Yeah.
fine. We're gonna defend it by kinetic energy. I mean,
So
we just
Maybe.
Here's the RWR warning. It's got to be right around this area, this 9-10 mile range.
yeah. But if you believe you're fine in the in the defensive crank, and you have, not
Yeah.
sure what happened, but
I guess
very
he does
unlucky for him,
chaff.
very good for us.
Yeah, that is it's always really fortunate when you take that long range posture shot and it just happens to hit someone, and you're like, oh my god, we got somebody. Whoa, and it's a
Yeah, there
big
you go.
morale, and it's
Yeah,
a big
it is.
morale hit to the other team too.
And the Rage in chat here is confirming what I was saying. He was just trusting his lead to maneuver to defend. So just a bad timeline calculation, unlucky for Rex and Animal here.
That's unfortunate.
It happens. And yeah, then we're back to the usual setting. We're quickly losing altitude, maybe too quickly, and defending those Phoenix, trying to get them to close on us. We have the 3 ship working together while Gemini tries to get some good AM54 flanking high PK shots. Doesn't always work. And yeah, then we set up kind of a grinder here, and I go up against the two sheep here, pretty close, and I think at some point, not sure if it's there, but I had it pretty close. No, so here yeah, what's the range here? That's the two sheep F14 ingressing on me. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're at 11,000 feet. They're still up at 27,000 feet, so they've got tons of altitude on you.
They have.
That's 12 miles. That's a lethal shot though, going uphill.
Yeah, with 120B, they have a lot of energy and they defend pretty well. So I think it just pleated us. And they shoot here. I think that's honestly what gets us around here is me not dying here, because if you look at it, I'm able to notch this to defend at least. Not sure if I notch from terrain mask, but I don't believe I terrain mask because I saw them all the way going for me. And
Well,
then,
go to his view, the first person view, and let's look up and see if we can see those missiles.
because that was a pretty big moment. I was pretty sure it was either, die or not.
You can do it right
because of
here,
this
Beaver.
range. Yeah, so they're coming high. I see those two huge smoke contrails coming from me, and I know I gotta get low and try to get into a notch position. And yeah, they both pass in front of me, so yeah, so there's
Yeah,
no
they're-
terrain masking.
But you're just able to trust the notch here.
Yeah, trust the notch. We do train to trust the notch. And that's, if you go back to third person view, that gets me really close in them. So I'm actually behind the first one and in front of the second one. And that's
6
what
miles.
yeah, and that's what I was saying. At this range, I'll take an F16 over an F14. I mean, it's easy, the radar is fast. You just you
Yeah.
have an IFF instant. And we get those two F14 kills with Gemini backing me up and foxing the second one. So that's pretty huge for us at this point.
That's good too, yeah. And Gemini's still, he's still up at 16,000 feet.
16,
He's
yeah.
got some altitude, but he's not.
Yeah, we're trying to work on that,
Supremely high.
getting him enough room to get back high and get turned back in with a lot more altitude. But yeah.
that is a good close range shot. I mean, you're talking 12 miles there on a hot aspect, and he tries to trust the notch here, but he's just off.
It is, and I believe
Slightly.
yeah, he's low. Okay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
zoom out.
And too fast.
Zoom out. Oh, no, he's not supporting that. I wonder what the difference there is, because it's not a very different situation to what Marco was in.
I know. Well, the two fox trees were coming from way above, so they have a huge piece of land behind me, maybe. Well, where the Phoenix from Gemini is coming pretty much level.
I don't know
So
how
maybe-
DCS calculates that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know. But yeah.
I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I'm just.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did nothing wrong. I just defeated two Phoenixes.
But you guys are in a really good position here. I mean, you got a decent concave
we
around
kind of
Rex.
screwed that up, honestly. A pretty terrible ACM from there. 4v1. So, we tried to work on that since then. But 4v1 here. He goes for me. I know he's there. I'm just going to go, okay, well, you guys come for me. I'll just drag all day long. And smartly, he doesn't overcommit on me. He turns around as soon as Raf gets close. And he fires. And then again, I think it's smart on his part because the 4v1, if you want to have at least some chance of taking one down, you got to force a merge or force a close range engagement. So
Guys,
that
I want
once
to
you-
point out that what you're about to see is ridiculous.
Yeah,
like-
and honestly, I don't know. I mean, that first one, he terrains mask, two of them. And then I'm going to follow up, I think, with a closer one right about when he's turning into Zank here. Yeah, there you go. So they merge, actually. That was pretty bad. And honestly, he gets away from that one.
Oh, that's why.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. There you go. So
Yeah,
the 120
that
lost
is
a ton
why.
of energy.
Yeah, you watch
And-
that thing. It's at Mach
Yeah.
1 point, almost Mach 2, and then he jumps.
Yeah.
It is at Mach 2, and then he jumps, and then it just bleeds all the speed off of it.
Yeah, and I was here about, okay, well, this one's got to go. Nope.
That one didn't
And,
even track him.
And nope.
Yeah.
And then I'm guns. So I just blow through because I know the guys. Raf called here that he was engaging, so I just blow through. I don't try to go guns with him because I know Raf has this, and unfortunately the 120 is fired a bit too
But
close, I
man,
believe.
look at that thing go. It's like an AIM-9X.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no reason to take an M9 mic over a 120B. No reason at all, honestly. The 120B is able to pull a lot. And that was a very close shot. And well, a bit too close maybe, but yeah, the 120B is very, very... I mean, yeah, in an F-16 there's
Oh
no
my
reason
god,
to take one.
that thing's pulling like.
I think it goes to 50 AOA. Yep, there you go.
Look at that 20 something
Phew.
G, man. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
So yeah, unfortunately that's again a miss, and that now get us into a pretty bad situation because Raf, I believe, is gunned as well.
I just can't believe that thing pulls like 25 G off the rail.
Oh yeah, no, the 21B. I mean, the 120B is yeah,
Just-
pretty impressive.
Zoom. Oh my god.
Yeah, so yeah, and as you can guess, comms at this point are going crazy. You know, everyone's. I mean, Raf is calling engaged, Fox 3 close and merged, and Gemini is calling some ray guns because he only has M7s, and I mean, everyone wants a piece, but you know, here I call. Zank isn't able to see him. Gemini gets into the mix with an aim-7.
Oh my god, he touches another one.
It doesn't track. Raf calls a ceasefire because he's merged guns, and Gemini goes for another 9M, which tracks Raf. So we were pretty pissed because we called an engage in supporting. We had a decent idea of what was, but you know, so it's debriefing points. But yeah, you do not fire an M9 in that situation, maybe. But and then I get some hits, I believe, on guns. I believe I get some hits. Not sure if it's shown on tag view, but no, it doesn't look like on tag view. And then he either. Yeah, and then he either.
Now he's like in a really good spot,
Oh,
honestly,
yeah,
if he
no,
still had
man.
missiles left.
I mean, I don't know if he had any left, but we really screwed that 4v1 up. I mean, there's no way. Sure, he got a little bit lucky with my first 120 just jumping around, but there's no way this has to happen like that. And here he's in a pretty good situation, but I think he either loses the engine or he's run out of fuel and he ejects. That's why I thought I hit him with the guns, because he ejects.
I think
right
you
there.
did.
Yeah, I remember seeing some stuff on my POV, but it doesn't register on the tag view, so not sure. But
But yeah,
yeah, very. I mean, could have gone wrong.
I told you guys that was gonna get crazy. It was nuts. There was watching that on the stream. There was stuff everywhere. There were jets
yeah,
everywhere. There were people everywhere. There were missiles everywhere. There were
And
times
the
where I
ground.
thought the guy was dead and like missiles would just fly by his cockpit. Man, it was like a scene out of a movie.
Yeah, and you do not want to hear the comms because it was, you know, everyone just screaming. I mean, it's basically you see basically that video of the pilot instructor in the back screaming, "Kill him!" Well, that was
But
pretty much
I
it.
do want to say that this happens to everyone. This isn't something like Joint Task Force France sucks or something like that. It's hugely chaotic, and you have people in merges, and they did the right thing for most of this, where they weren't shooting into merges. Gemini, but they had pretty good trigger discipline. They didn't want to shoot into things. I think they did fairly well. I think it would have been maybe a little bit better if you guys didn't commit into the merge. Like, take your shot. If you didn't hit him, break off and then
reset,
re-engage. But that's really hard to do because you're hunting for that kill. Your adrenaline's pumping. But it was 4v1. You guys still came out. The guy died. You have 3 pilots remaining.
And I assume,
I mean,
given the total length here, I assume that the fuel states are not a big issue at this point either.
absolutely not. Yeah, no, we were very comfortable on all jets.
Okay.
Left, yeah. No problem at all. No problem at all to go back. And yeah, I mean, coming down from 3 defeats in a row and a pretty bad, 8-0, 8-1, and 8-0, I think we were pretty happy about that one. Let me tell you.
Definitely.
And to be honest, a lot of credit goes to the other teams. I mean, it's really great about SATAL is you get to talk. I had some talks with Bear from the Grim Reapers, with Rage after our defeats. Like he said, we had a friendly match against their new pilot teams who they are forming for the next year SATAL maybe. So, we had none 4v4 practice match before SATAL. And it took 3 defeats in a row, and I almost want to say, unfortunately for us, we won our first match, and that got us into a state of confidence. So it took us 3 defeats in a row to realize, okay, we need to get some real training out of there, and we had in 2 weeks. We had 4 practice match in real condition, in SATAL conditions, and it helped a lot also for the pressure, because PvP in a competitive way is way more stressful than just going out on the rolling sidewinder and just killing stuff or getting killed. You start the game and you really do not want to screw up, because you're also fighting for the team.
Yeah.
And we saw that. I think honestly, we had one match where we had 3 ground hit. I mean ground crash. Crashing into the mountains. That just never happens. I mean, we don't hit the mountains usually in training, but when you're fighting in SATAL, you just if you get too stressed, I mean,
it's different.
Really screws up. Yeah, it's so having those practice matches helps you, get those feelings back a bit when it's the real match. So yeah, it took us 3 defeats in a row to realize we had to do something. And sure, we had a bit of luck. It was a very close match, except that third round. But yeah, work pays off, and we were pretty happy about that one.
Well, it seemed like whatever you guys did ended up working out for you.
Absolutely.
Because you guys went from the losses that you had, and then you did something, and then you came out with a win. So I think that right there shows that your course of action that you put in place ended up working out and created a result that you wanted to happen.
Yeah, and we were pretty happy. We have a very strong group with the Grim Reapers and the TFT. They're very good, experienced guys, and it's not. The both teams, the Grim Reapers and TFT, I believe, stand in the top 4 of the SATAL 2020 gold standings at this point when this match was streamed. So we have a strong group with strong opponents, and getting that win was pretty good.
Man, you guys have already played 6 matches.
We did. We were the team flying the most in the first half of SATAL.
Jeez.
So we flew 6 matches in between the start of SATAL and the end of August, and now our next game is only in December.
Well, so you get a little bit of break.
Yeah. So I guess.
But it gives you time to put those lessons learned into practice. So
yeah, we're on a long break ourselves. Our last match was in August, and we don't have another one until like second week of November. So we've been trying to train up to.
When is your guys' next one? Trying to find you. There you are. Oh, it's against the Grim Reapers.
Yes, we'll have our second games against the Grim Reapers. We are looking for revenge, and then we'll finish against the Phoenix Task Force, which we have beaten 2 times already. So hopefully we can beat them again and finish on a good note before the tournament.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
looking forward to
Marco,
the end.
It was a pleasure to have you on. Hopefully you've been enjoying your guys' time in SATAL. It's always.
Oh, we did. Whatever happens, we'll be back next year.
I'm glad to hear that. It's always nice to see teams enjoy it, and I always tell people it's just be ready, because it's not like anything you guys have done before. It's a totally different experience, and you don't know what it's like until you do it, because it's nothing like multiplayer. It's totally different. You will think you could be the best pilot in the world on a public multiplayer server and come into SATAL and get shit on because you were doing things that your nerves made you do, and you weren't flying how you normally do, because it's just different. It's a totally different experience. Not saying that people are better than others. It just, the nerves get to you, and if you're not used to dealing with that pressure, because if you're dead, you're dead. There's not better luck next time. It's you kind of let your team down when that happens, and bad things
and
can
also
happen.
fighting as a team, you know.
Yeah.
Most of the time when you go on a public multi-server, you're going to fly as a single ship or maybe a 2 ship, but flying as a 4 ship in a coherent manner to defeat an adversary team is
Right.
also something very unique.
Well, and
Yeah.
the other thing that's different is you're flying against another team whose sole objective is to kill you
kill you.
before they go home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
not
definitely.
they're not going to go home until they kill you. It's not,
Yeah.
well, they'll try, and then if they don't for a little bit, they'll go home or go do something else. Their only objective is to kill you, which is very different than a public server. So it's really, but it's nice to have you guys on. It's nice to have you guys in the event. And it's a pleasure having you on to talk with us. I really enjoyed getting your guys' knowledge, thoughts, and visions for what you guys were trying to do and what you were able to execute during these rounds. So I really thank you, Marco, for coming on and sharing that all with us.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks to both of you for having me. Have a good rest of the night.
Yeah, well, have a good morning since it's like 5 o'clock in the morning where you are. And hopefully we'll do this again.
I'll be off to work in a few hours, and see you later.
All right.
You're an
Thanks,
animal, man.
Marco.
Take it
Appreciate
easy.
it. All right.
Alrighty.
I think it's time for me to go to bed too.
Yeah.
It's
about
I think
that
it's
time.
10 o'clock here, 10:30. I'm tired. Fight for Honor sucked it out of me. I'm going to try and fly tomorrow because I've had like no time to fly my virtual airplanes recently with all the stuff that's been going on, especially with the time I've put into Fight for Honor this weekend.
Yep.
Anything before we send him out, Beaver?
Just what do you got for us this week on SATAL?
SATAL, we've got... Who is it Tuesday? It's TAW taking on Phoenix Task Force on Tuesday, and then
Okay.
Golden Crown against 64th Aggressors on Thursday.
Also, it's some Diamond Days.
It's Diamond Days, so I fly for 64th Aggressors, but I am not in that match. I did not fly. I have not flown in their last couple matches. So
Okay.
I plan to fly against when we fly against Toro Squadron here in the next little bit, but I did not fly in this one.
Alrighty.
Or against Eclipse Task Force. So, but those are coming.
Diamond Days. Then we'll be doing
Fight for Honor
the
this
finish
weekend.
Up of Fight for Honor.
Yep.
You'll actually be streaming.
We'll
with
be streaming that one with Mover and Gonky.
Awesome.
Hopefully. Is the video for the Fight for Honor up? The trailer is, but we're going to be streaming that this weekend. So I don't know when we're going to go live for streaming yet. I haven't planned that. We may do some tracks. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to stream it. The
got a week
matches
to
start
figure
at
it out.
1400 Zulu. So we're just going to see. I haven't
You
planned
got
that.
a week to figure it out, man.
I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't made it that far. I got through today and I just didn't want to think about it anymore. So we're gonna be doing that this weekend. But that's gonna be all, I think. Hopefully the A10-2 on Wednesday, so that'll be exciting.
That'd be cool.
Hopefully I get a shipping notification for my slyly gotten 3090.
Scumbag 3090.
Shut up. So
It got
hopefully
stolen.
don't say that. I want it to get here. I gotta provide people with benchmarks so that they can make educated purchasing decisions, and I can talk people into
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
money. Remember,
Yeah,
guys.
You don't need to be doing that.
Remember, guys. I'm your man if you want to spend money. I'll recommend all kinds of stuff to you. I like spending other people's money. I've spent enough of my own. Let me spend other people's. So that's all we got. Thanks for joining us. Another episode of Wheels Up. All done. And we will see you guys in the next couple weeks. We're going to try to do these every few weeks. I think doing them weekly is too much. So we're going to try and do these every few weeks. But until next time, stay safe in those virtual skies. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
See you guys.